Hi, I'm Tom O'Connor. I'm founder and joint managing director of Conack Construction.
Having started out in 2008 on the cusp of the global economic crisis, Tom O'Connor and Kieran Cusack have grown Conack Construction from its base in Limerick to a nationwide business. Conack now delivers high-quality, sustainable construction projects across a diverse portfolio of sectors, employing over 200 people with over 2,000 subcontractors. Conack's success was rewarded at the EOY Entrepreneur of the Year Awards in the Established category in 2022.
I have to say I like being my own boss. Grew up in Cashel. My dad is a vet. I have two uncles vets. I did the Leaving Cert. I didn't get enough points the first time I got engineering in Trinity. Decided to go back and repeat the Leaving Cert because I wanted to be a vet. As I matured, as I was repeating the Leaving Cert in Dublin, I suddenly decided that I don't want to be a vet and I want to be an engineer. Always had a keen interest in construction. I was definitely a Lego fanatic as a child, and engineering ticked the box for me, repeated the Leaving Cert and got engineering in UCD the second time. And off I went to engineering. I think engineering has a natural lead into construction. My first job was above in the mines, in Tipperary, Lachine Mines, as an engineer. Cold, miserable place to work. Nobody stuck it out, and after a year and a half I was the senior engineer on the site, so I got a rapid climb through my career. My second job in 1999 is actually in the current building estate that our head office is in. I started here when this was a green field, and halfway through the build here I met Kieran, my business partner. I was obviously an engineer / site manager for a large construction company. Kieran was a contractor on site. There was an argument erupted over a couple of bags of cement that went missing. He was accusing my guys of taking it. I was accusing him of fabricating stories. We agreed on a Friday that the solution was to go to the pub and try and figure it out. We got on very well in the pub and we decided we should go into business together. So back in 2000, we kicked off a company called Conack Construction. We never resolved who robbed the bags of cement, but we kicked off a company. Our story is that we bought 2 Jeeps and 1 trailer, and we started off from there. So obviously at this stage, I was working very hard. Kieran was working very hard, working for different companies, etc., etc. And there was a generalization that we were doing all the work and somebody else was making all the money, and that in-depth requirement to be my own boss was always there. So we decided in 2000 to start off. Again, back to 2 Jeeps, 1 trailer. Our first job, standalone for Cusack O'Connor, is that beautiful security hut we passed on the way in here, which I think is about 3 meters by 4 meters, measuring 120 square foot. And I think we built it for 22,000, I can't remember if it was euros or pounds at the time. That was our first job. That was a good job. It was literally hands-on, 2 of us, Jeep, trailer, concrete, pouring concrete, cutting steel, moving things around the place, and we physically built it ourselves. We built Cusack O'Connor up to be a good-sized construction company. We started on back extensions, septic tanks, one-off houses, small fit-outs. In 2004, we kind of moved into a little bit more of a builder-developer role. We brought in a business partner with funding. We bought a site, got planning and built 30 houses. We made a few bob, rolled it on into the next one, built 80 houses, made a few bob, rolled it into the next one, started building around 120 houses, and lo and behold, the Celtic Tiger crash came in 2006, 2007 and 2008. In 2007, we could see the writing on the wall. We started a process of engaging with our banks. We paid up our supply chain, and we sat down with the banks and agreed what we were going to build, what we were going to sell, what's the minimum sale price we were going to get. And we worked through a process with the banks until mid-2008 when we could go no further. At that stage, we were two young men. I had gotten married. I just built my first house. I had my first child, Ellie, was there. Second lady was on the way. Kieran was married slightly before me, had just bought his house and had kids. And there was that Friday moment feeling that we need to get money coming in the door. So 2008 was interesting, to say the least. 2008, I was 31 years of age. I knew that construction was my life and what I wanted to do. We were in trouble. Financially, Tom and Kieran and Cusack O'Connor were okay, but one of our contacts was in financial trouble, and that brought the whole house down at the time. The fact that we knew what we were and what we wanted to be, we made a concerted effort to pay the supply chain. So anybody who worked for us, who did work for us, got paid. When we were finished with Cusack O'Connor and we were at the bank stage only, everybody had been paid, and we'd engaged the banks on resolving our issues with them. And it was that moment in time when there was no money coming in on a Friday that the realization was that we need to do something different and we need to start again. Very happy that we had a decent reputation in the market, in Limerick only, obviously, and to go back out, knock on doors and start again in 2008 wasn't unknown around the place. Everybody was under pressure. A lot of the other contractors locally had gone down and there was nobody there. No, there also wasn't a lot of work, but there was something there. So we chased it, we got it, and we built it up. And after a couple of weeks, we had a few bob coming in, a few bob to pay our wages, and we built it up from there. And so it went. So we said, while we were dealing with the banks, etc., on this hand, we better start working again. And we set up what's now known as Conack. Conack is obviously an abbreviation of both our surnames. The C-O-N is me and the A-C-K is Kieran Cusack. And we literally went back to scratch, 2 jeeps, 1 trailer and an office in the front room of my house in Anacotty at the time. And so life began in Conack, back again to the housing, the back extensions, the septic tanks. But we decided this time we would do it differently. The start of Conack, the one rule we made in Conack is no debt. Unless we can afford it, we weren't buying it. It was as simple as that. We either rented it or we bought it. And if we bought it with our own money. Watch the pennies and the pounds look after themselves. Plant air. So if 66% of the purchase cost of a piece of plant is covered in the first rental, we should buy it. And what I mean by that is we are now a very, very well-funded company. And on the back of that, we analyse every single cost that's within Conack to make sure we make the right commercial decision going forwards. We realised that carrying debt in a company was difficult, and should you hit a speed bump on the road again, it had the potential knock-on effect to pull you down. So when we kicked off in 2008, we were chasing work. At the time, the government were putting some monies into the Department of Education, and some of the local schools were getting extensions, which we started to tender for, and we started to win, and we started to build up our turnover. I think in 2008, we turned over 1.2 million euros. I think in 2012, we'd have bumped up to 3 million euros. Just to clarify, in the month of July, we turned over 1 million euros every working day of the month, just to show where we were to where we are now. So we've grown the company. Neither myself or Kieran ever worked for a large construction company, so the systems, the rules, and what we've done in Conack, we've learned from our mistakes. So for instance, our staff are king. We have probably, I believe, one of the most fantastic teams and crew of people working for Conack that have made myself and Kieran what we are today. And those people, when you engage, you sit back, you listen, and you understand what they bring to the table and what they bring to Conack as a name. It just brings you to a new level. So we've changed the way we work. As Conack has gotten bigger, we realised that the pros and cons of running a big company and managing the smaller systems, or penny pinching, or minding the pennies, is a big part of us and a big part of our company. One of the bigger things we've done recently is visualizations. So in every department, whether it's accounts, whether it's plant, whether it's fleet, whether it's purchases, whether it's estimating, whether it's pre-qualification, we've created a board in each office to visualize what's going on in that office. The benefit of that would be, for instance, in our plant office, if I was to walk in today, I can see what pieces of plant we have on hire at any one time. I might have also been on the site yesterday and I might have realized that we had a piece of plant spare, one of our own, and we may move that from site A to site B and off-hire a piece of plant. We can make efficiencies in how we run our business. Somebody's passing through, I have a jackhammer, I have a teleporter, I have scaffold, I have drills. I'll bring that back into the stores and I'll hand that back to you. Even our plant system, we're trying to, when a hire goes out, we're trying to put a finish date on it. We've set up an automated email system whereby the guys on site are reminded that you have a piece of plant on hire. You told us it's going to be finished today. Why hasn't it gone back to the shop? So we can manage the efficiencies of that. That management system then flows through to cash flow. So we're tracking our monthly payments, when the invoice goes out, when the invoice goes in, any delays from our quantity surveyors or our architects in getting the payment out to make sure that we get paid on time. A big part of Conack, obviously, is that we always will ensure that our supply chain are paid on time. And therefore, by visualization, my cash flow, I make sure my money is always going to come in on time, so I always have enough money to pay out on time. The same effort and the same visualizations will go into our tenders team. So we have all our tenders up on the board. We all know what's happening inside that office. We can all add a bit in, give our input, understand what's going on, understand where the pressures are, what we need to do to help. And same system will go into our estimating team and our purchases team. In hindsight, going back over the last 23 years of running our own business, I can confidently say that we have made a phenomenal amount of mistakes here in Conack and in Cusack O'Connor prior to that. Every mistake we made has been a learning experience for us. I do believe you need to make mistakes. Some of the mistakes I've made, I don't even want to think about anymore because they were fairly serious at the time. But the lessons I've learned from them have been phenomenal. For us as a company and to ensure the longevity of Conack in the future, we have probably picked three main areas to zone in on. Financially, we have always carried what we call a war chest. So when you analyse and you understand what happened in 2008 with the building industry and other contractors, and what happened at the start of COVID with inflation and all the issues we've had, a lot of construction companies have struggled, whether it's lack of money, job is in trouble, price of job wrong, have lost money, and general financial issues. But myself and Kieran agreed, I think it was 4 years ago, that we were going to create a war chest or a cash reserve within Conack. So we have a written agreement that we will always carry 1/12 of our turnover in cash reserves within Conack. What that means for us as a business is, number one, accounts receivable does not talk to accounts payable, so everybody gets paid at the end of the month, even if we don't. Number two, if I have to do a contractual battle with a client, which I hope I never do, but if I do, I have the money to argue it out. And we're always in a cash strong situation. And obviously the number three and the final benefit, as a new and upcoming company, we are financially exceptionally strong, and it allows us to get to the next level and the next step, because we are and we want to always be a tier one contractor in this country. The other part of the aim to keep Conack in the position it's in, or the longevity of Conack, is diversity. So while a contractor could pick up a particular niche in the market, we've always believed that diversity is the most important thing. As I mentioned earlier on, in 2008 to 2011, the Department of Education were pumping money into schools. So for us as a company, it's always important that over a 3-year cycle, we always do a school, we always do a hospital, we always do a university, we always do a hotel, we do an office, we do some social housing, we do apartment blocks, we do fit outs, we do civils, we do civic jobs. And we try and tick a box every 3 years over a cycle to broaden our horizons and to keep as diversified as possible. My aim for next year is to pick up something along the green lines, something to do with biodigesters or something new outside there. And the target, for this year was modular. So we currently have 9 modular projects in site. We're bringing in 3D volumetric units and putting them together for the Department of Education for modular schools. It's proven to be very successful, and it's a rapid build solution to the Department of Education's problem at the moment. We've incorporated a profit sharing incentive scheme into Conack, whereby the better Conack does, the better every single member of Conack does. So what that does for us is it makes sure our sites are efficient, our offices are efficient, the way we manage our systems. Whether you're the person sitting at the front desk ordering pens and barrows, to the person sitting in the plant office hiring in equipment or managing equipment, to the person on site managing the supply chain and subcontractors. You have that vested interest. We are proud of the fact that 60 to 70% of the work here in Conack is negotiated/repeat business. What I mean by that is the client that has left comes back in again to say, Tom, I'd like you to build this with me. I'd like to work with you in this tender. I want to go forwards here, and this is where I want your input from Conack to come in. The reason for that repeat business and that negotiated trend that we feel here in Conack is solely down to our reputation. Our reputation is key. So both our reputation between us and our clients and the reputation that we carry between us and our supply chain and subcontractors is key to every step going forwards. Because we made sure the supply chain and the subcontractors were paid. We maintained our relationship, our reputation going forwards, and we were able to carry that forwards to today, and to this day we're known for that, and we always will be. In 2018, 2019, we made a decision that we needed to break into the Dublin market. So while Conack were doing very well down here in Limerick, and we'd started some works above in Galway, and we're moving across the Tipperary, obviously there is a concentration of work in Dublin, and we decided that we needed to be part of that as a company. We knew our first job had to be a flagship job. We knew it had to be difficult. We knew it had to be one that in one single job it would put us on the mark in Dublin, and that job turned out to be the Moxie Hotel in Sackville Place. We knew going in the door that the job was priced tight. It was a design and build hotel. It was in a very awkward city centre location with a loose line connected to it, a taxi rank in front of it, and a footpath only behind it. I will honestly say that I probably spent most nights lying in bed thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to cover this? But we did it. We finished the job on time. We finished the job quality-wise, health and safety-wise, budget-wise. We did what we said we would do. That single job in Dublin put us on the mark. The knock-on effect of that job was we got introduced to Heinz. We currently have about 150 million euros of work on with Heinz at the moment in Dublin. We're currently negotiating our next 100 million euro job, and that was down to that flagship job and the seat of your pants efforts that were involved in getting that job over the line. I've always known what my team are capable of, and it's not about me or it's not about Kieran, it's about the team. And I've always known our capabilities, and I genuinely believe our capabilities are endless. The Moxie job was probably what we will call a loss leader, but reputationally, we took the job on, we agreed a price, we built the job, we finished the job on time, we were fair, we were open, we were honest, we took the hit, that was our decision to take at the start. We didn't become a claims conscious company, and the knock-on effect and the reputation we gain from that single job catapulted us into the Dublin market. So that risk and reward and that honesty and fairness that we put forward while we took on that challenge has stood to us in time over the years, definitely over the years in Dublin.
The 2022 Established Entrepreneur of the Year is Tom O'Connor and Kieran Cusack of Conack.
So for me, big thanks to EOY, big thanks to the network we've been introduced to. It's phenomenal. It's been exceptional since we became a member or alumni in this one. Just thank you so much. Thank you to my business partner of 22 years, Mr. Cusack. It's been a long time. Good friends still. Thank you. The EOY Entrepreneur of the Year and what it has done and meant for us. I remember our first trip up to Dublin for the interview and to meet the finalists night. And I remember sitting there and thinking to myself, we should not be here. I've sat in a room and I met some of the most amazing people, and I've listened to some of the most amazing stories, and the sense of awe and sense of unease that I was in the wrong room was phenomenal. To turn around in 2022 and to win the EOY Entrepreneur of the Year established section was exciting. What EOY has done for us and EOY has done for us, we are probably now involved in the best network in the world. The fact that I am on a WhatsApp group with the likes of Anne Herity, Harry Hughes, Dennis O'Brien, John Purdy, it is just beyond belief. The queries, the questions, the interaction. We had a EOY get together a couple of weeks ago above in the K Club, and from the minute you walked in the front door of the hotel, there was a buzz, there was an excitement. I would honestly say that every week some EOY alumni member is on a paper with a new announcement, whether it's a new business venture, whether they got a few bob and they sold their business, whatever it is. But the sense of cooperation, the levels and what these people bring you to is just, it's beyond comprehension at this stage, what it means to you. I don't believe I've ever had a bad day with the EOY group. I just feel I am a lucky person to be involved. Anybody who gets nominated for an award is already a winner because you're in the group. You have done it, you are in. And all I can say is what you put into this is what you're going to get out. Put in every single thing you can. It is beyond anything you will ever experience professionally again. The EOY experience for us and engaging with the other entrepreneurs and listening to their stories has probably broadened our horizons on what people have done, mistakes people have made, what is possible, what you can do and what you will do if you put your mind to it. A wise man did say to me one time, it's great to learn from your mistakes. It's even better to learn from other people's mistakes. And I think that's possible. The first bit of advice I would give is the one thing that you will carry with you the whole way through your professional life is your name. Your name and your reputation is key to everything you will do going forward. So if you are always in any industry open, honest and fair, and you will carry a reputation that will stick to your name, that will stand to you for as long as you may live. Do what you want to do. Just understand that a failure is a learning experience. And for every mistake you make, you will learn from it and you will carry that forwards into the next stage of your life and you won't do it again. Failure is not the end of the world. It's a small step back so that you can make a big jump forwards.